Hi everyone, this is Lisa Cronin from It's Little Things in Card Making, and I decided to jump on and talk about the magic mat from scrapbook.com. So I've been playing with it a little bit. I did see some videos. I also received an email from scrapbook.com, kind of explaining that it works, but you have to do this, you have to do that. If there's any questions, contact them. First time I ever received an email from a company telling me that if I have any questions using their product, that I should call them. So I decided to look online. I said, okay, let me see what's going on. Let me see what people are doing. And I saw a couple of videos, and I said, no, I have to make a video. It's not a true representation of this tool. So I had gotten it. It was, believe it or not, I think it was 50% off or 60% off. And I decided to try it because I love die cutting. It's probably one of my favorite things to do. And I decided I was going to kind of show you what I figured out, in using it a few times, whether or not this mat would be good for other people as well. I think it's important to really understand your tools and get the most out of them. If you're going to pay for them, you want to make sure they work to your expectations. And that's the thing. Work to your expectations. Magic mat. I expected a lot. And I think a lot of us expected a lot. Magic mat. What does that mean? That means we're never going to have a problem because it's magic. Well, maybe they should have named it something else because the expectations are pretty high when the company is saying this is like magic. Okay, so I got the long one. It comes in 3 sizes. Standard, which would be the same, the standard size plate. And there's a mini, and I have that too, but I can't find it right now. Okay, when I die cut, I'm using my Big Shot. When I die cut, I use a shim, a metal shim, underneath my bottom plate. I'm not going to use it because a lot of people don't have it, or some people don't have it. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to die cut. I kind of feel like there's something under here. I wanted to start with easy and simple. Now, remember I said that when there's a variable, I'll try to tell you what that variable is. When using this mat, like with using anything else, there's a variable. But there's many variables on die cutting. The variables are what machine you're using, how old is the machine, are the rollers a little looser because you've had it a while, the paper you use, how thick is it, what type of paper it is, the dies. Every company, they make different dies. Some cutting edges are a little longer and they cut a little better than other companies, and that's usually, in the price of the die. Usually the more expensive the dies are, typically the better they're made. That doesn't mean they're bad, it just means you're going to have to work a little harder to get the result you want. I have several dies here from several different companies, several pieces of cardstock that I am going to cut, and let's start. Okay, simple shape, right? Simple, open, not too difficult to cut. Okay, I'm going to put it down. I'm going to put down my tree. Just to be fair, I have a brand new top plate, do not cut plate. I'm going to put it into the machine, and now I'm going to run it through. And let's see what we got. Okay. This is Hero Arts, by the way. This is one of their dies. And we got some of it cut. Now, would you say, oh no, that that mat is not working. I mean, it's a magic mat. It's 65-pound paper. It's a good reputable company. Why didn't it cut? It should have cut. It's a magic mat. It should have cut. Okay. Like everything else, we have to take into account the variable here. The variable for me is I don't have my shim on the bottom. So let's try it with the shim. I'm going to try it with the shim and we're going to see what happens. Now my machine has been used quite a bit. So is it my machine? Could be my machine. Let's see. Same paper. I'm going to put it in the machine. And we're going to crank it. Just once. And let's see what we got. Oh, look at that. Same corner. It didn't cut. Is it the die? Is it my machine? It could be. It very well could be. So now I'm going to get another piece of paper. Same paper. I'm going to put it down. And now I'm going to shim it with a 65-pound paper. Same paper. And now I'm going to run it through. I could tell right away we got a better cut because I'm seeing the impression in the top plate. Let's see. How'd we do? We did better. Now, that's a magic machine. I'm sorry, a magic mat. Very, very, very nice. Had I done that first, before I did it without my metal shim? No, had I did it first with my metal shim, we would have said, oh, it's magic, it's great. Okay, so now we have the tree. All right, let's get a little more complicated. Now we know if the tree did not cut out, if the edging of the tree, simple die, nothing, intricate about it. If it didn't cut out then without the metal shim, then we got to keep the metal shim in, especially because we're doing a more intricate die. So now I'm going to place my die on top of what we just cut out. Now you know I have to put the same shim in because that's how I cut out the outline of the tree. Now I'm going to put it back, my top plate back, and I'm feeling resistance, which is good because you should feel resistance. And I am seeing some of the marking on my top plate, so I know there wasn't enough pressure that it kind of, it moved though. But look at that. Look at that. Now this, to me, is magic. It's not magic. It's just very good. I'm hoping you can see everything. I normally do not have this on my desk when I do a video. But everything came out. I mean, it didn't come out, but everything got cut. Now, when they mentioned that it's magic, I think they mentioned that because it's a self-healing cut mat. Right. Most of it came out. Still that same corner. It's just not, it's not cutting now. Okay. Not happy. Not happy. Not happy. Just gonna scoot this off. And you can see where the tree was cut. I'm hoping you can see. There are some, you can see the color of the cardstock where it cut. So, self-healing, time will tell. Okay, Put this back in. Make sure I'm on one side. All right. I'm going to try this again. I'm going to try it again. 65 pounds. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to put my shim in. Now, what happens with your shim after a while is after you use it a couple of times, it kind of squashes the fibers down, which means that you're not getting the same amount of pressure and the shim is not working as well as it did the first time you put it in. So sometimes you have to change your shim. So we're going to change the shim. Same paper, 65 pounds. I'm going to put it right on top. Then I'm going to put my top plate. And let's see what it does. Remember the variables. I'm going to put it twice now because this is an intricate cut. Now, if it doesn't cut this time, I'm hoping you could see. All right, what I'm going to do is what I would do normally for... Oh, looks good. Doesn't it look good there? That looks pretty good. Let's see what it did. You know me, my handy dandy toothpick. Okay. This time, it looks like it cut everything. I'm hoping I'm in the light and I'm in frame, and it did. It absolutely cut everything. So that was good. What did I do different? I don't know. Yes, I do. My shim is better than the purple shim because I used purple shim twice already. So this shim still had a little bit of height to it. It wasn't squashed down. So it was a better shim. Should we try it again? Same type of paper. Let's see what the shim does on the second roll. Let's do it. Let's see. I'm going to take this off. All right. Same paper, different color. I am just going to take out my little bits here. Okay, and just to be on the safe side, I'm going to tape it down. And put my shim in. And now my top plate. Now this is a pretty intricate die. I can feel some resistance, and that's a good thing. I'm going to bring it back because it looked like we had better results when we did that. And again, there's no magic. It's figuring out what works best. Maybe they should have called it Figure Out What Works Best Mat, because the expectations would not be as high. Okay. Not as much came out. And we have a little piece here that's, okay, this looks good. You know, this is no different from any other cut. You gotta poke out what's left. All right, there's a little resistance on that one. So you have to remember, not all dies are the same. Some companies, see, this is work. Okay, all right, nope, not as good. Okay, so it looks like this shim, the 65-pound shim, is only good for one pass. We really don't want that. Right? We don't want that. Yeah, we don't want that. We'd be using up too much paper if we did that. Let's figure something else out then. And to think I cleaned for you guys, and now I'm making a terrible mess. All right, let's figure something else out. We were cutting into 65 pounds. We had 65 pounds for a shim. Let's cut into 65 pounds again. But let's use an 80-pound shim. And let's see how this does. Because we don't want to have to cut more than once. And we don't want to waste paper. So let's see if better paper, because that wasn't the best paper in the world, but better paper may give us more passes. Okay. This is 65 pounds. This is 80. I should have used different colors. All right, let's see how we do. So our shim is heavier paper than what we're cutting. Did I go through all of the, what's the word I'm looking for? All right, I don't think I did. Did I go through all the variables? Let's see how this did. Oh, this looks better. You know, it's funny because when I was first starting out, and people were talking about how one paper is better than the other, I said, no, they're all the same. No, they were right. I was wrong. All right, look how beautiful. 65 pound with the heavier shim paper. And this came out really nice. Look at that. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? How pretty. How pretty these two colors look together too. Very, very nice. Okay, let's see if that shim will work again. Let's see. So is the mat doing its job? Yeah, I guess the mat's doing its job. No matter what you do. Whether you have, two regular Big Shot plates or a metal shim or paper shims, you're going to have to work on seeing what exactly will work for you. What is going to be, through trial and error, what is going to be your sandwich? Due to the fact that all machines are different, all dies are different, all paper's different, all plates are different. You can't just open up the package of this magic mat and think it's going to do its magic. No, you have to figure out a way for this magic mat to do its magic. Okay, so now we have 65 pounds, and this is our 80-pound paper. We're going to put it right back on there. We're going to see what happens. So yeah, it's just like, anything else. That's why I hate getting new things. Because it's like you got to figure it out. You got to read the instructions. You got to do your homework. You got to look and see how things are done. Oh, this looks pretty good too. Look at that. Okay, 65-pound paper. We figured out a sandwich, right? 65-pound paper, 85-pound shim. Should we see if the 85-pound shim is going to work just as good? If we cut into 85 pounds? See why not, right? Now what I do is I have an old gift card, and that seems to be the best way to get them off. And you can see that there's some marking on this, but we don't know if that's going to make a difference. Okay, so this is 80-pound Gina K. This is our dirty die, which I'm going to clean out. And I'm going to use a couple of other dies too, because I think it's important to see that not all dies are the same. All right, so here we're on 80-pound paper. And we're using 85-pound shim. And let's see what that gives us. And again, my metal shim is underneath. I'll run it back. I think it looks good. I think it looks good. Okay. Pick out a few of these, but they're coming out easy. I'm not struggling. They're not ripping anything. Alright, so I found my sandwich. For Hero Arts Dies, I found my sandwich. Is it going to be the same sandwich if I use 110 pound? Let's use 110 pound. Let's see what happens. See, this is the playing that needs to be done before you can make a decision. Before anybody can. That's why I don't like reviews, because you have to look at everything and you have to try every possible combination before you can say something is worth it and something isn't. So this is Nina, 110 pounds. I'm going to clean out my die here. Use the same die. Might as well stay with the same die. I have a couple of other dies here that I do have a problem with. I have a problem cutting, so I want to get to them. Alright, we're going to take that in place because we may have to rotate this. Let's get that 85 pound. And now our top plate. And let's run that through. It is tighter. It is definitely tighter. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at it. Because, 110 pounds, it's kind of thick. I'm looking at the back of it. It looks pretty good, except right in here and right here. So this is the way it was. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it. And that should help. Still using that same shim. It is quieter too. I don't know if you noticed. There's no creaking and cracking. So that's a good thing. I won't be waking people up at night. Oh, I think it did good. Let's see. Let's see, let's see, let's see. £110, we can manhandle it a little bit. Okay. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Okay. Let's play with this. Let's see if we can talk to it. This doesn't look bad. This looks okay. Okay. These little ones, they look pretty good. Both sides. I'm really hoping I'm in frame. Now again, this is the big shot. I have a Gemini. And I have Anna Griffith's Empress, the mini and the big one. And I would need to have different sandwiches if in fact, okay, I had to tear the paper a little there. If in fact the mat fits into the machine. And you have to be careful about that too, because if something happens to your machine, and those electronic machines are pretty expensive, I don't know if you're going to null and void the warranty on it. So oftentimes companies would like you to stay with their own plates. This way if something happens to it, you can, call them and they can assist you. But if you're using another tool, that is not an approved tool for that machine. Okay, so this will work, but, you know, obviously, you got to work at it. And I did my twist. It could also be that my 85-pound paper has kind of lost its girth and wasn't, you know, pressing down enough because it had already been squeezed. So, I mean, that could be it too. This is the type of work that I'm kind of used to doing because so many of my dies are intricate. It would be wonderful if it was in fact really magic, but it's not. It's a tool. It's a tool that you need to learn to work with. More than that, I can't tell you. It will cut down, well, hopefully, cut down on replacing your bottom plate, your cut plate, if in fact it holds up. So, and again, time will tell. All right, I have a little problem here. Probably going to have to rip it from the bottom. But it did, you know, I mean, it cut nice. Like the edges are really nice. Let's see if I can get a piece of paper. I don't have one. Just kidding. You have to see my craft room. It's a disaster. So, I mean, it cut nice. It's not ragged edges. That could be too because my plate is kind of new. But, I mean, it works. I don't know how magical it is, but it works. You have to try it. You have to find out what your sandwich is. And like I said, every die, every, you know, every thickness of paper, every machine is going to require you to play with it to see what sandwich is going to work with this magic mat. I'm going to keep using it because it's, first of all, I have arthritis. And with the magic mat, I got to tell you, it's a smoother roll. I'm not, you know, kind of fighting against, you know, the two plastic mats. There is some give to this. So when I push it through, it's a little easier to kind of get through. And I like that because then I can do more work and I won't be in pain. But I really, you know, for me, and again, it's an individual thing. For me, I think it's good. You know, my expectations were a little higher, but then reality set in and I'm like, what was I thinking? I'll tell you what it seems to be really good at too. It seems to be really, really good at embossing. So, because there's a little more give to it, this has been a die that I've always had a problem cutting. And I said this is Crafter's Companion, and I wanted to try this die because I'm going to do 85 pounds here. Is this 85 pounds? Is it the darker one?